Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of The Right Way Wednesday. My name is Nicole Clark, and today I have with me Diane Palacio, our resident regulatory guru extraordinaire, and we thought since we were together we'd record a couple of videos, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about documentation scenarios that might be more challenging than others. Documentation training is a big part of what Diane and I do in the compliance department on a regular basis. From the documentation tools that we've developed that you can get to in the file section of this page. Don't forget, they're there for you to use if you want them. And if you're a Health Pro Heritage employee, you can get to those on box and in company documents and from your iPads. To webinars that we do on a monthly basis for our clinicians to make sure that they have all of the tools that they need. We really try to create a lot of educational opportunities, and we think we have a pretty good little arsenal at hand for our clinicians right now. But in the effort of continued growth, we really kind of looked at where we are right now with documentation and thought we put together something brand new for our clinicians. And so this month, we're actually going to be presenting a new webinar called Documentation 301. So if you're a clinician with us, you know, I'm sure you've seen 101 and 201. So now we've got 301 that we're presenting this month. And it's going to really kind of look at those situations that we see from time to time that really trip us up and kind of result in denials as well, right? So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today.
Yes. So, Nicole, so one of the most common, I think, reasons for denials and one of the most difficult scenarios to document is what we see so commonly is the patients that make slow progress, their length of stay is kind of long. How do you document that to justify the medical necessity of those ongoing services when it kind of just looks like it's going on and on?
Yeah, it does a lot actually, and it can be, I mean, I think it can get easy. I mean, it's easy to sort of kind of get stuck in sort of
a
documentation
routine and just a rut, yeah.
You know, one of the things I know that I've seen a lot is reviewers calling us out on just that everything just looks so repetitive and routine, and what they tell us is they're not seeing enough standardized and objective measures, right? All along that progress there, you know, and those, for someone especially who's making slow progress or much more incremental pieces of progress, right, than big gains, those actually can help us pinpoint, right, where progress is being made that's a little more sensitive than us, just maybe with our goals, right? They tell us they don't see enough patient-specific detail in our daily notes specifically, and even in our weekly notes as well. You know, they talk to us about how they point out that, you know, while we're seeing slow progress and we're documenting slow progress, we're not really documenting why that is. We're not documenting changes to the plan of care, right? And that our goals maybe aren't changing. Maybe we've gone 2, sometimes 3 or more months, and we haven't changed those short-term goals, right? So looking at, our goals maybe too broad? Do we need to be more incremental? And then so that we can actually show the gains, do we need to talk more about function?
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think something else that we see a lot in these denials is 2 words, complexity and sophistication.
Yeah.
And I think we don't give enough weight to those 2 words and what exactly they mean. We need to document complexity. Either it's the complexity of the therapy services or it's the complexity of the patient. And with sophistication, if somebody else can do what we're doing, it's not skilled. They want to see sophisticated input in treatment. So we need to show that we went to school, we learned this, like nobody else can do it. We are the experts, so we need to document it in that professional and technical language.
Yeah, right.
So what kind of audits are you seeing out there that have kind of prompted us to start going down this road with this particular training?
You know, we have seen, and over the last couple of years, sort of increase in audits, right? I know you've seen all of these as well. You know, we're still seeing CERT audits; those are still happening out there. SMRC audits, We're seeing U-picks happen more, though. We're seeing a lot more TPEs right now,
A lot.
especially with some MACs like Palmetto, maybe even NGS is ramping.
CGS.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're ramping up a little bit with the TPEs. They're even starting to get into some PDPM documentation, which we expected. I mean, that's nothing
Right,
really
right.
too shocking. We're still seeing some RAC audits, and if you don't know what a RAC audit is, those are looking at claims that have already paid, so maybe even a year or two or more.
And asking for the money back
Yeah.
after 2 years. So
Yeah, and we're even seeing some Medicaid audits from the OIG, and so all of these audits are still happening. They're nothing new, you know. So again, we just need to be prepared and make sure that we know they exist, and our documentation is going to support it. We actually have, and I don't think this is in our file section just yet, but I'm going to post it today for you. We have a CMS audit types at a glance, and so this really kind of goes through each of the audits and kind of just outlines what they're looking for, and the reason that those audits exist. And so I think this is a great little tool, so we'll provide that to you as well.
So one last thing, given that we're talking a little bit about more complicated documentation scenarios, more complicated maybe clinical scenarios with our patients that are leading us to have difficulty documenting, we want your 2 cents. We want you guys to post post in the comments under this post, right down there. What are you seeing? What scenarios do you find difficult to document? What situations make it really hard to show your skill or to show the medical necessity of the services? We want to hear from you guys so that we can, you know, incorporate this into future trainings, and really it enables us to be able to answer you and meet you at the questions you have. So it takes the guesswork out of it, I guess, for
Right.
us.
So maybe it's the patient with advancing dementia, right? That might be kind of difficult or challenging to document. You know, maybe it's just someone who's just not making progress, but we know they still need us. So how do we document that, or whatever it might be? What are you guys seeing?
Yep. Another one that just popped in my head as we were talking about this was the standardized tests and measures. For some patients, that is hard to do. Think of those positioning patients. How do you make that standardized and measurable, and how do you make your goals measurable? So that just popped in my head right now, but let's hear from you guys. We really would like to hear it so that we can answer your questions.
Yeah. So thanks, guys, so much. Thank you, Diane, for being with me today. And let us know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for being with us, and happy documenting.
Yep.